Welcome to the RCAD. Sorry we're all late. It's been one of those days. Nick left his laptop at his hotel. He's on his way back, and
Same.
It's just Matt and I for now.
Same.
Matt's risen it, or whatever the cool kids say in California now.
Dude, that's so mid. No, it's good to be back. I wasn't here for like 2 weeks, or I don't know.
Did we have two shows?
Like maybe you just had one. I know there was a lot of stuff going on with you guys, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, you were traveling too. I saw, right?
Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh.
I'm not going to say that it's the same, but I went to the Grand Canyon. So
I did see that. I was jealous because that's again one of my bucket list things to do.
You've never seen Grand Canyon?
No,
really?
I think I've told the story before. We used to drive to Pennsylvania every 3 or 4 years. We'd go to Pennsylvania, load up the car with dogs and kids, and there'd be 6 of us crammed in this little car. And my parents would always say, "Hey kids, there's the sign of the Grand Canyon." And we just raced by it. That was their joke.
I mean, it is, you got to go up to it if you're, I don't know what direction they went. I assume San Diego up to Bakersfield, and then you cross I
don't think we went Bakersfield. I think we went through like Yuma or something. I don't know. I don't think it was Bakersfield. Sherry, and it's Sherry's birthday today. Happy birthday, Sherry.
Happy birthday, Sherry.
But no, I want to see the Grand Canyon. I want to be one of those people that jump over the railing and just.
Oh, geez, so many idiots, so many fucking idiots.
Yeah, I mean, like, not only you're risking your own life,
the kids,
Flagstaff,
or their spouses, or their girlfriends, or like
that, or the rescuers.
Nuts. Yeah,
the rescuers. I think we did go through Flagstaff. We went through Phoenix, Flagstaff.
Okay.
What's the other big Arizona town? Flagstaff, Arizona, Tucson.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Jackson Glaffeler, his birthday's a month away. Well,
just before you get to Flagstaff, there's a road that takes you up, or you can go from Flagstaff up to the Grand Canyon. It's probably about an hour.
Just remember there being a sign that would have like an arrow pointing Grand Canyon that way. You know how you have those signs when you're traveling. Yeah. And you see them, and we never went.
When you come from the south, it's like you're traveling for a while, and you're like, what's the big deal? Like, there's nothing around here. There's just like trees. There's this big, huge mountain there, and you pass by it, and you're like, okay, so and you just keep going and going, and then, even as you're driving up to the park, you're like, where is it? I'm just seeing all these trees, and then finally you get to a part where there's clear, open sky, and you walk up to it, and it's like. Is home away from home. Oh,
Randy's home away from home. I still remember the Flintstone cartoon where they're traveling and there's like a little tiny little water thing. They say it says Grand Canyon. They say it's going to be something someday. It's not even a river. It's just like a little bit of water running through the.
They say the Colorado River size didn't change much. It's through it's through like the actual geological process of that these rocks are the way they are, that it's not through just water erosion. So it was something
that ruins the whole Flintstone joke.
It does, because I thought the same thing. I was like, clearly water has washed this away, but no, there's the parts that lay bare that you see the sides of. I mean, it's like looking back in time, because I mean, it's like millions and millions and millions of years all the way down. But really cool. It was really great to take our kids to see it, And,
did you go on the glass thing?
The glass thing? No.
It's like a glass, it like sticks out and you walk. It's got a glass floor.
No.
No.
Mm.
I've wanted to do it ever since the Brady Bunch went to the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Because I thought I'd go camping and then see an Indian boy who would rescue me because I got lost in the Grand Canyon.
There's a lot of reservations all around there too. So, but no,
probably a lot of snakes.
It was very busy. I was glad where we stayed. We stayed kind of at a lodge near. We were like 5 miles away from. So staying close to the Grand Canyon when you get up in the morning and you get there, it's kind of like getting to Disney World before in that early morning, because for the first half hour there's no. That's in Western GC on Tribal Land. Oh, that makes sense.
Skywalk, yeah, Randy says the Skywalk is not at the park.
Okay.
Yeah, the Western GC is, that's further. So we kind of came up to the main southern area and then continued to go east towards New Mexico and took that route out.
You go see Walter White?
No. We went through Albuquerque though, New Mexico on the way. Stopped at.
I've been to Albuquerque. I've been through Albuquerque.
Yeah. What's really amazing is like a lot of those towns in New Mexico, it's like we stayed in Farmington and Farmington's just right on the other side of a reservation. So it's like there's nothing in the although they've been building up a lot more development in the reservations, but on the other side of the reservation is where the white man's cities are pretty much. I mean, it's where all the development is, or it's where you're going to find like the
it's funny when you leave the city, and you probably saw a lot of it traveling, you realize that, man, there's still a lot of land left in the United States that hadn't been touched. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's amazing how much land there is.
And yet there were areas, because my wife and I, we had done 2 road trips in our youth. Once when we first started dating, and then the second one was when we did our honeymoon. And so there was some things that we saw that we were just like, wow, like 20 years ago, there was nothing here. And now it's like there's wind farms, there's solar, there's a lot of land that's now like solar powered. And you're just like, man, all of this has happened in the last, 20 less years. But there is a lot of land, and we were in land but no water. Yeah, Randy
says land but no water.
When we were driving through Death Valley, there's this one part where there's this road, there's no electrical lines, nothing. There's no electrical lines, no houses, there's just nothing. And I'm not talking about the actual park. We hadn't reached Death Valley's park yet. We're just kind of cruising towards it. But you get to this part where there's just nothing out there. And I told the kids, I was like, look around. I
wonder why they call it Death Valley.
I'm like, look around, kids. We will not get farther away from civilization than this. And at that moment, I'm like, please don't break down, vehicle. Like, just that's what's going through my mind as I'm telling the kids. Yeah. I'm just like, please don't break down.
Did anyone bring water?
We definitely packed had been carrying a bunch of water. But there's this moment though when we were coming in through an eastern pass, and I couldn't tell you which I have the map here and everything, but as we were coming into Death Valley, there's one way that you go, and I mean, it looks like a mountain. It looks like a road that just goes straight up a mountain, and you see the sign that says, "Turn off your AC for the next 10 miles," and you're like, "Strap yourselves in, kids."
Well, they don't want the cart overheat, right?
Yeah, no, totally. But it's just 2-lane, and it's you're just cruising along trying to maintain and get over the hurdle. So there was some definite. It was enjoyable. So
Randy says it's a great place to visit in the winter.
We stayed at probably the fanciest place in Death Valley, and that was really fun. It was like this Oasis Inn, and had really, it was really nice. I was like, can we just stay here another night? Like, can we just?
I've never been to Death Valley either.
I mean, there's a lot there, and it's a lot bigger than what you think. It's also kind of amazing because in the lowlands, of course it's hot, but there's camping up in the mountains, which on the hottest day you could be up in the mountains and it's still cooler. And when my wife and I, when we did Death Valley on our honeymoon, we camped on this campsite where it was like one other vehicle, one other person, and you're just like, I hope you're not a serial killer because we're dead if you are.
I hope you're not Dan.
Right. I hope you're not Bob. We figured him out.
I hope I'm not Bob either. We're talking about Death Valley. I'm sure you've been there, right, Nick?
I've been there like at least 3 or 4 times. It's neat.
I've never been there. Never been there.
Yeah, like it's big. I mean, it's
that's what I was saying. It's bigger than what you think.
Yeah, like you need at least 2 to 3 days to do it if you want to do the whole thing. Yeah.
If you want to do the whole thing, I mean, there's always in every park. There's it's like any park. There's always something to do.
It's funny. It's never been on my list of things to do. Go to Death Valley.
Well, I mean, Matt was crazy to go in the summer. January through March, early March is like the time to go because it's like 70 degrees in the day.
Hiking. We weren't hiking.
Oh, you just like
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, our road trip was really showing the kids America and all of these different places along the way. Well, I mean, when you do a road trip, you really do get to see the land and how it slowly builds up. I mean,
how every state is different.
It is. It really is. I mean, you got the northern prairie lands, the southern prairie lands. We traveled through Oklahoma, Missouri on the way back home. So we went through the Ozarks, which it's like you think you're done with the mountains, but oh no, the Ozarks have a little mountain.
I've been through the Ozarks.
Okay. Is that where your parents cut through? They're like, we're not going to show you the Grand Canyon.
I don't remember. It's just, I mean, it was a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
It's been, all right. I'm almost 61. So it's been 45 years, 46 years since I've done this. So it might have changed. It might have changed a little bit since I traveled.
Nick, I was telling Jack that like the last time my wife and I had done road trips, there's been a lot more development as far as just the amount of solar and wind energy that's gone into the desert, especially the Arizona, New Mexico, and even that Southern California area. It's just like you're on the other side of the Sierra Nevada and you're seeing the power lines go over the mountain and you're like, oh, okay, this is what you're doing here. You're putting it out in all of this undeveloped flat land, so, and then running the electricity over to LA. So
it's electric hogs in LA.
So many.
Hate them.
I was lucky. In the 5 years that I lived there, I never experienced a rolling blackout. But then they happened the next, like as soon as I left, they started happening again.
Yeah.
But, well, go ahead, Jack.
Did you ever feel an earthquake? That's the.
Oh yeah. So the most powerful one I felt was 5.3. And I was sitting on the toilet at the time, and I thought
that was a powerful dump.
Exactly, I thought it was me for a second, and then I heard everyone else, kind of making a ruckus. So I was like, "Oh, okay, it was an earthquake." And
there's a reason why I cracked the bowl.
Man, I've been holding that one for days.
It's just something loose. They say certain roller coasters, if you sit on like the last seat of certain roller coasters, like it can break kidney stones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about that one it was Carowinds that had a crack in it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
We inspect them daily. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Death Valley's neat. I did the first trip I went. I did the southern part, which has more stuff to it. So
did you hike?
Yeah, like long hikes or anything, but I did all the stuff you need to do. What's the painter's spot, Matt? You'll know the name better than me. That was one of the first places I went to.
And then Scotty's Castle, right?
That's in the north, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is in the north. And then there's the area that just has dunes. It's just like it's what you imagine the desert to look like.
Yeah, right.
Most of the desert doesn't have just dunes rolling forever, but there's this one section.
You don't see Clint Eastwood walking through it, because he's the ugly is making him walk through the desert. Good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. But if you go to Monument Valley, Jack, that's where they shot the Clint Eastwood movie where he's rock climbing, and he's
really?
It's the one with George.
Yeah, I know who you're. And they're actually up on top of of a cliff. They show both actors are up there.
Yeah. Clint actually climbed it. So when I got my tour, when I went to see that spot, he actually climbed it, whereas the other guy.
Who is the other guy?
it's the guy that was in Naked Gun and George something.
George Scott. George, not George C. Scott. George. He was in all the airplane movies. The airport movies. George Kennedy.
George Kennedy. Yeah, George Kennedy actually was dropped off by a helicopter.
Coward.
On top of it.
The
thing is, though, that would be more scary to me getting off a helicopter on that thing, because it's just like it's such a small surface. Oh.
It's like, how much am I getting paid for this?
Yeah.
You mentioned a castle now, and is it like rock, or is it someone built a castle?
It's a home. So basically, the story behind Sky's castle is he wanted to kind of like do real estate in that area, I think, if I remember the story correctly, and he put a lot of money into the house. The house is actually really nice, and he had parties and stuff like that. But at that time, it wasn't a park, and so it's just a house people go see, because it's just it sits on a natural water spring in the valley. So that's
so he's hoarding all the water.
Yeah, in a way. But it's neat. It's worth going. It's the only thing to see. The only two things in the northern part of Death Valley is the racetrack and Sky's Castle. And the racetrack is it's these little rocks that move, on their own, and they leave these patterns of and that's why they call it the racetrack, because it looks like rocks are racing, down.
Oh, so it's not like a racetrack where you have horses out there or cars, or
you got to get out to the salt flat to do that.
Salt flat, okay.
Yeah, but they have a test spot on the salt flats where you can take your vehicle out, and I heard that it's harder to find the start and end line. So
you can actually take your car.
You can actually take your vehicle out,
and just go for it.
Yeah, when we went to the Salt Flats. Now that's in Utah, near east or west of Salt Lake City. But we went out and down to that part, and we saw people going out and taking their vehicles out.
So you're saying don't take a Prius?
You can. I mean, the biggest thing about taking any vehicle out onto the Salt Flat, if you want to race it and just go fast on there, is that it's salt. Like you're gonna get all of this corrosive shit underneath your vehicle,
the frame,
right?
And there's no like car wash as you leave.
No,
it's true. Like, I mean, somebody could make a killing on that, except for the fact that nobody comes out there. It's like there's one gas station and that's it.
You were in
it would be fun. It would be fun to do.
Just get a rental and
get back. What happened? I go, I don't know. There was some snow. There was some snow, and they put some salt down. I don't know.
Matt, I doubt you went, but because it's often overlooked. But just to the northwest of Death Valley is Manzanar, which is the Japanese internment camp in World War II. Okay. It's the It's the most famous one. There's one in Wyoming as well. Something Heart Mountain or Heart. So they got a heart in it, but the famous one. The famous one though is in California, and it's huge, and they've kept it, as it was, and it's worth going.
Wow.
Hey kids, let's go see something.
Well, it's a piece of history. It's it's tragic history.
Sure. No, I was trying to convince.
Let's go see America at its finest.
I was trying to convince my wife, like as we traveled through Oklahoma City, I was like, hey, we could go see the.
I've been the bombing. Yeah.
And then we went to Tulsa, and I was like, hey, we could go see the Tulsa Massacre Memorial. Why are we going to see? I'm like,
what about the big ball of string? Could you go see that?
It's really famous.
I think that's in Iowa, actually.
The big ball of string.
I think it's in Iowa. The big ball of string. But
there's big shit along Route 66. Like Route 66 is like this big tourist trap, and there ain't shit out there. And it's like, but it's just like, oh hey, stop over here and see, some big. Big shit. It's just random.
Yeah, I know on the way to Vegas and Baker, California, they used to have the world's largest thermometer. That was always exciting driving by that. Going,
it's because it was a rectal thermometer, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's tough to sit on.
Where do you think you're gonna put that thing?
Yeah.
Well, I think after Baker, if I could be wrong though, because there's Baker and there's the place where the McDonald's is. It's where my uncle and aunt bought a lot of land. I knew a lot of people bought land in this area. And John wants me to pass a piece of chicken. I finally see the legs, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
But
Okay.
Matt doesn't know what we're talking about. But
No clue.
that was something last week.
Oh, okay. I'll catch it on a rerun.
But whatever it is, it's like after that,
rerun.
there's like nothing for like miles. It's just desert.
Right.
When you're driving to Vegas, but I don't know. I can't remember.
If you were to do Grand Canyon, it'd be better to just like, although you fly out to San Diego a lot, but it would be almost better to just fly into Vegas, rent a vehicle, and then go down.
Yeah.
And
that way you can hit Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
Then go over, depending on how much of the Grand Canyon you want to do, because the North Rim is actually better than the South Rim. If you're like me and doesn't like people. So it's like
so you said the North Rim is better?
Yeah, but it's harder to get to.
So the North is better than the South?
Not in every context, no.
Okay, I'm just saying. You said it, not me.
Hey, climate change keeps happening here. We're all going to be wanting north.
Well, hell, I mean, like I'll tell you something that's a fun fact. We have the Front Range of Colorado has now surpassed Seattle this year for rain, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw some of that water damage that was coming in Denver, like some of the storms that they were getting there. So when we were coming into Grand Canyon, there was a forest fire kind of off in the distance. You could see it, and you see all these signs about smoke warnings and this and that. And my daughter, who's just like, hey, should we contact them? We're like, no, they know, sweetie, they know. And then later,
she wanted to let them know there was a forest fire.
Yeah, and so like later, we're driving through Grand Canyon. There's an electric sign that says, "Do not call. We know about the smoke." And we
have these things called satellites.
Yeah, we were like pointing it out to our daughter. We're like, "Look, see, this is why you don't call. Okay, they know. All right,
but at least she's showing concern.
She was.
How many young kids today would say, "Fuck it, it's not my problem."
I saw them. They were on the edge of the cliff. I was like, I just kind of want to film you just in case I get a viral TikTok out of this.
Yeah. I need to get likes. I need to get some likes.
I need to get like some faces of death shit on my TikTok here. This will really.
I don't know. TikTok is they're pretty strict on their stuff now. I had started a new channel. I did this one where the kids destroy McDonald's.
Yeah.
I show the video, but I don't actually show any sound.
Yeah.
And they deleted it. They said, no, it's too violent. I go, literally no one's hitting anybody. And then on my sports one.
That's weird.
My sports one, the other day, the Padres were playing the Angels, and Carlos Rondon hit a ball off his shin and had to leave the game. They put a warning across it saying, this is done by professionals. Do not do this unless you are a professional or have a professional with you. I go, you realize anyone who's played baseball has hit a ball off their knee or shin or foot. What is the big? It wasn't like someone got decapitated. I go, we're really putting a warning on this. Come on, TikTok. You can walk around with big boobs and barely almost naked. That's no problem.
Oh,
but show someone get hit with a ball off their shin. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like, did you guys see that comedy bit? I'm not sure how old it is, but it's a guy, remember they were trying to cancel Baby It's Cold Outside a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And have you seen that comedian talk about that?
Yeah.
Matt, have you seen that? He's like comparing the lyrics. He goes, so at the same time that they were trying to cancel Baby It's Cold Outside, the number one song in America was Wet Ass Pussy. So he's like, I'm going to read the lyrics of Baby It's Cold Outside and then read the lyrics. And so he's going back and forth, and he's like, and it's hilarious. Just how silly.
It's just, there's certain things that people get their, a hair up their ass about. And it's like, really? That's bad?
Well, look, I don't give any fucks about what anybody else says, but that guy back there ain't real.
Now, do you know the story behind that? At first I thought she was just crazy.
Right. Yeah,
because you're like, oh, like she's just on drugs. Or
for anybody that doesn't watch TikTok, just search.
I don't think you have to watch if you're on any social media.
It's been
one woman scared on plane.
The way she said it is like, I don't care. Like it's just the way that like she's almost hyperventilating as she's saying it. Like, but basically she claimed that the guy in the hoodie was an alien.
Yeah.
And because like I don't, of course, you don't know who's doing stuff just to get views or whatnot. But some other guy that was on the plane said that he watched as she was talking to this guy. The guy never said one word to her, as if like he was like telepathy or whatever. Like
his eyes are fucking
weird
too.
Yeah. And she said that like when she gets up, he kept looking at the guy, and the guy looked at him, and then when he winked at him, he did not wink up and down. He winked to sides, and I was like, whoa. So and that's why she was freaking out.
I don't blame her. Okay, there's a lot of people throwing fits on airplanes and a lot of people that are not allowed on airplanes. But if I saw something fucked up like that, I probably would just be like, I'm out.
Well, I guess the Carrot Top was on it.
Was on that plane?
I saw that.
It was on the plane,
too.
Yeah.
What?
Carrot Top was on the. That's what they're saying. That's what the cool kids are saying.
Okay. Conspiracy theory number.
I guess the biggest problem is everybody had to get off the plane so they could look, and so it was 3-hour delay. So that people are pissed. But there's one video where she's screaming, and it's the next. I don't know. It's first class or business class, and the guy sitting there checks her out as she's walking away. The guy freezes, goes, he's like this, and as she walks, he goes, and turns his head.
Well,
I go, oh, look, he checked her out.
The first time I saw the video, like anyone thinks it's just another irrational, crazy person,
right.
And because when she said, but that's what I was laughing at the first time I watched it, because the fact that she goes, that motherfucker back there is not real, and then everyone turns and looks. I was like, she's clearly saying he's not real, but like you're looking as if someone, and that's what made it funny. And then as it is developed, more stuff came out, you're like, oh.
She wasn't arrested.
No. Or was she not?
No.
Okay.
Well,
no,
I mean,
she just wanted off the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, like I said, I don't know what happened
back
like
there. Rachel at the end of Friends, she just wanted off the plane.
Right.
I thought maybe she was bipolar, because I know a couple people that are bipolar, and when they don't take their medicine, that they do see things like that. They do, and especially if they mix alcohol with it. Again, I don't know what was going on, but she believed it, and there's people on there that are actually defending her. There was one lady I saw on TikTok. She goes, "It could have been a shapeshifter. We don't know." And then people are calling her crazy. She goes, "I don't care if you call me crazy.
It could have been one of those creatures that in Marvel right now."
Yeah.
I haven't watched Secret Invasion yet.
Oh, okay.
I need to watch that.
That can change. Yeah.
The
but I actually felt bad for her, but it's like because now she's the face of crazy. I mean, that's people are making
she's
fun
TikTok
of
famous for 15 minutes. I mean, it'll be something else,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there is always the Bill Hader kind of thing. But I mean, okay. What do you believe more? Scared woman on plane or the aliens in Vegas that you can't see in that photo? And I don't care how many times you watch that video and how many breakdowns you've seen, but the people going into the backyard and see aliens in some kind of, and I've seen so many I'm like, what am I looking at? Because you circle shit, and I'm like, yeah, but that looks like that could be anything. Like, I'm thinking that they're seeing something that we can't see, that the camera.
I think it's something that it's the flash of light, the thing that is falling out of the sky that the cops pick up on there.
Well, they picked up on that, but that happens after this. Like that's
were they being beamed? Did they get beamed up or something?
Well, they say that family's gone. Like you can't find this family or whatever. And I'm just like, what?
Well, if you listen to the call, it's not acting. They believe they see something.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the thing with both the woman on the plane and then these people is like, the earnestness is in their voice. It's like, what they're not coming out to like stage something. I mean, we've seen stage TikTok shit. We're just like, okay,
it's so, and they still get great hits, and you're like, it's like, come on, why did I waste my time watching this?
Sometimes it's the most bizarre things, it's just like, like if we all
like the painting one where the kid shoots something and the woman falls on the leather couch with the white paint. And
I think they did another one too, like where she's coming in with like 4 cups of coffee, and then like he's waiting, and then like fires something else, and she spills all the coffee, and then he shoots her with something in the face. It's like, just stop. You know,
Why don't you get on a plane and just make a really crazy accusation?
yeah, do something original. You know?
Yeah. Get banned for life.
We want something snappy.
Something peppy, something
Yeah.
that makes us
Not
think
that
that there's a
lovers will make
conspiracy.
crap.
Right.
Now, okay, one thing I just got to bitch about.
Mhm.
Fuck flat earthers and this flat earth bullshit. Anytime I get a flat earther like TikTok, I'm like, stop sending me this bullshit.
You know,
not
wait.
interested.
You know enough flat earthers where this is a problem for you?
No,
Who
I
you
just like
hanging out
it
with?
got in my TikTok feed because I like conspiracy bullshit. And so it was just like, I was like, I don't know. Come on, get the fuck over yourself. Flat earth bullshit.
Come on. Yeah.
Come on.
We have satellites.
Well, whatever.
Right.
Like even ancients like figured out that the Earth's not flat.
Right.
And you're just making yourself look that dumb.
Well, because they used to think, no, you can't sail that way because you'll fall off the edge of the Earth.
Right.
But how does the water stay there?
Right.
Well, that's what you know. The ones that are the diehards that really defend it, they say that yes, it's flat, but we basically are in a planar projection, which is it's just a disc, and so as you get more towards Antarctica is the ice ring around the entire
There's
circle.
a wall of ice.
It's a wall of ice, so that's how the water doesn't spill over.
Somebody's been watching Game of Thrones way too much.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
Now
Ice
you want
wall,
to talk about some hollow Earth or like inner Earth kind of stuff around Atlantic. I'm all around at Antarctica. Excuse me. I'm all for that. I'm all for that like crazy like Nazi like inner Earth bullshit.
I will tell you, just since you're talking about stuff like that, I will tell you not this past episode, but the one before, you missed the episode where Jack, Chris, and I are all going to hell for making fun of what?
Before we go to hell, let's take a commercial break.
Because Matt, we were just shitting on the sub.
Oh, the Titanic.
Yeah. I missed all of the sub. Now I saw all of the memes for sure. I think my favorite one though still is the killer whale that's just like
oh yeah, talking to the mic. Yeah, we're not responding. We didn't do shit.
Yeah, I like that one because there were killer whales have been out there like tipping over boats and like they're basically like fuck you guys
because they're pissed.
Yeah, I would be too. We're fucking up
you're putting all that plastic in the ocean, and now people wonder why the sharks are coming so close to shore now. Well, you're fucking up the ecosystem, man.
They're porpoises. They're a dolphin is basically what a killer whale
the orcas
is.
are killer whales.
Yeah. And they learn from older orcas, and so there's some in parts of the world that actually beach themselves trying to get seals, and they know how to get back, and that's what they're claiming with the ones that are hitting the ships, because it's right there around Spain, is that at some point, most likely an older adult hit a rudder, by accident or something, and it caused enough trauma to where they hate ships. And so it's been teaching all these orcas to
I thought there was like they believed that there was an older matriarchal like orca that was hit or killed.
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Orca with Richard Harris?
Oh, the Jaws ripoff.
Yeah, Jaws. Yeah. It basically because Richard Harris kills Orca's wife, basically, and they're partners.
Mrs. Orca.
Yeah, Mrs. Orca. They're partners for life. They don't believe in divorce. It's one of those things. Even if they don't like each other, they stay together.
They're harder than the Catholic.
Exactly. I mean, they hold true to it. They're saying, okay, hey, no divorce. All right, fine. We'll have some kids. We'll go around and eat some fish. But
Mr. Orca's out there, like looking at all the younger orcas.
Yeah,
checking out dolphins for some reason. Like
he's like, wait, what? I'm just looking. I'm not touching. I'm looking. They swam by. What do you want me to do? They swam by. What am I supposed to do? Look the other way. So anyway, the movie Orca. The whale, the orca is out to get Richard Harris. And I still remember the line, this is the stupidest line in the movie. He's this woman, I forget who the woman is, the actress. She goes, "You're not man enough to accept his challenge." Okay, it's a fucking whale. It's so stupid. I mean, I saw this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it probably in, oh God, it's maybe close to 50 years, 40 years, whatever it is. But yeah, that was but that's when I first heard that, I go, oh, it must have been someone got pissed off. And now that orca's
You're not man enough to go over there and tell.
Is it weird
Land shark.
that I don't know how you guys think about time, but I saw a post today saying, in 2 years it'll be the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And in my mind, Jaws is not that old of a movie. But then I'm like, fuck. Yeah, it is.
Well, I always think it is older than me. So
it's older than me too, but I remember watching it in the mid 80s, and it wasn't an old movie then.
Oh,
and so it's like
the Spielberg movie that fucked me up though. And the babysitter that allowed me to watch it. No, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the boy is in a farmhouse. Kind of looked like me.
What I didn't hear the movies. I was laughing.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Close Encounters, yeah.
And the boy that gets abducted by aliens in the house, and like all of the things that come on, and he just wants to go out.
That was in Vegas, right?
No, it happens in Muncie, Indiana. Except there's this mountain. I don't know if anybody remembers the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but after the boy gets abducted and the mom's going out looking for him, there's like this really tall hillside that all of a sudden they're on. I'm telling you, Muncie, Indiana does not have a mountain like that. That landscape only exists in California.
Not anymore. The aliens took it.
Well, yeah, sure. All of the strip mining.
Yeah, but there's also not like a whole flat thing inside Devil's Tower either, where you can land a ship.
Well, it's not. It's on the backside of Devil's Tower.
Okay, it was never quite clear to me. I always wondered if like they were
it's not up on top.
Of it or something.
No, it's down at the base of it that they set up that. But here's the other wild thing: he doesn't have the spaceship come down; it comes out from the ground and up. Like if you watch that, it all of a sudden it rises. So it's kind of like a weird I
haven't seen that movie since it came out. I got to do a rewatch of that.
I mean, you guys have heard me say it's one of those Spielberg films. I've seen it 3 times I think in my life, and each time it's kind of like it's okay.
I think seeing it as a kid, as young as I was, and maybe it was because the babysitter allowed me to watch it, and my parents weren't home, so I was like freaked out of my mind. It really left an imprint on my mind. So even if I don't love the movie, I love the movie because it's in.
Yeah. You can't. No, I get. Yeah, you have a association with it.
Yeah, like I have a strong So, but yeah, I mean, when my wife and I went to Devil's Tower on our first road trip when we were dating, we pull up and set up our campsite. We're right next to these cows. There's cows out in the field there, just mooing right next to your campsite
because they're pissed. You're in their area.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't kill the female cow.
Why are these people here? And then I say, well, I wanted to come here because there's this alien abduction movie. She's like, what?
Right. Well, that's
how did she stay with you?
I don't know.
I think I took
dangerous. You were dangerous.
When I go to Europe, there's a guy that's what he does for a living. He's a tour guide, and whenever I go, he's who I go with because he knows all the non-touristy places and shows me all we're gonna go to this pub, we're gonna do that. I'm like, oh, cool. But I never thought about it until he explained to me. As a tour guide, he's been all over the world and he's seen all the touristy shit. So what does a tour guide do when he's on vacation? And that's what he does. Like what Matt was saying, he goes where movies are shot or where album covers are shot or things like that. Because I remember one time I talked to him, I was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Joliet." I'm like, "Joliet? You mean outside Chicago?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Blues Brothers, man." What the hell?
A lot of room in this mall.
Yeah, a lot of room. Oh, they got the new whatever. Yeah, whatever they said.
It's dark outside. We're wearing sunglasses. We had a half a pack of cigarettes. It was a half tank of gas and a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. I thought it was a full tank of gas.
Hit it.
Full tank of gas?
Yeah, I thought it was a full tank of gas.
Maybe it's a half pack of cigarettes.
Maybe. I think it is a half pack.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
It's night and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Doom, 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 doom.
Classic.
Yeah.
I did travel too. I went to Pittsburgh change subjects. And it's the sad thing is, as we're driving up there, my dream was to get a motorhome in the next couple of years, and I go, I can't do it. The driving is just taking its toll. I can't do it anymore. I barely made it the 7.5 hours to.
I don't blame you. I mean, bodies change.
Yeah, and I talked about before how big West Virginia is and how there's just nothing there. It's just trees upon rows upon trees and trees and trees. I go, it's just what I was telling earlier. I said there's still a lot of land left in the United States for now until they gut it.
Until Bill Gates buys it all.
Yeah, but
until it burns.
That too.
Until it burns.
I was thinking. I said, God, if something caught on fire here, there's nothing to stop it. I mean, it would just burn. But speaking of burning and fires, we get up there and we get out of the car. I go, God, it stinks out here. I mean, it's just, I go, something wildfire. I go, is something burning? And I looked at my phone and I go, Pittsburgh. I go, oh, the Canadian wildfires are here because the smoke was bad. I mean, it was really bad.
Was the air quality index really, really high?
It was bad. In fact, they had we didn't go to the first game that was there. Went to the next day, and they had a warning on there saying, if you don't want to go, you can get your money back. Oh, no. But once you go into the stadium, all bets are off. And I said, I go, well, we drove up here to watch the game. I go, let's go to the game. And the next day, the game was delayed like 45 minutes so they could check the air quality. I go, okay, we delayed this game. The air quality is no better than it was 45 minutes ago, but we're going to go ahead and do the game. And it looked like it was foggy. It looked like Southern California fog. It was so bad. And
that's not fog. That's smog in Southern California.
Well, they have fog too, but it was burning it was burning your throat. It was bad. I mean, it was bad, but I don't know. It was worse, the Padres losing or the smoke. But Cindy and I,
one was predictable.
Yeah, that it was going to be smoky, but we had great seats both times because Pittsburgh nobody goes to the games. But we sat on the second day. We sat we had aisle seats on both games. There's 8 Padre fans come and sit the same aisle as us.
Wow.
And I'm talking to them at first. These people never fucking sat down.
Oh.
And the rows we had to get up because there's no way these people can get out. We had to keep getting up. 4 would leave at a time, and then they'd all come back individually. I'm like, I'm getting up. And so as the game's getting on, I'm getting more and more pissed off.
Yeah, because you just want to watch the game.
I want to watch the game, but and there's one girl, one female, one woman, whatever you want to call it.
I just need to get through.
Yeah, well, we'd stand up, and she wouldn't wait for us to move.
Oh.
I go, where does she think she's going to go? She wasn't olive oil. That's all I'm saying. Where did she think we were going to go? I mean, and she kept. So this was pissing me off. And then at first they'd say, "Oh, we're so sorry." I go,
But are you?
Are
you sorry?
Because they never sat down. And then I guess they would go the other way a couple of times. So there's 2 people on the other end. And I go, I don't remember you leaving. So they were coming the other way. I go, they were just downright fucking rude. I mean, it's just like, I get it. I get you want to get up. And then one woman goes, that I had talked to earlier, she goes, that's the problem about being on the end, isn't it? And I go,
So when they go by you, are they crotch towards you or ass towards you?
No, we actually physically had to get up.
And move.
We had to get up and go into the aisle.
Oh,
they're like tripping. I go, I think they were getting drunk because they kept going up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, give us I was like, oh my God, just fucking watch the game. Jesus.
So they were clearly native San Diegans.
Yeah, they lived in Vegas now. Yeah. But it reminded me when I was probably like 18 or 19, I was watching the Padre games, and these kids just kept going in and out. Finally, I put my leg on the chair in front of me. I said, "Go the other way." and the dad said, "What?" And I said, "They can go the other way." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I mean, I'm not moving anymore. They can go the other way." He said, "Okay, kids, go the other way."
Nice.
I go, "I'm not moving. I don't care if I get my ass kicked. I'm tired of these kids." It was like the whole game. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It was just frustrating. Just frustrating. it kind of ruined the game. I mean, we had the smoke, we lost the game, and then you got these people that are just
that sucks.
Just ruder than shit. And Randy says it's probably the Spanos family. No, I wouldn't have let them out. If they were the Spanos family, I wouldn't have let them out. I would have said, "Fuck off. You can go the other way." But yeah, overall,
like, hey, I got a ticket to a sub that I want to.
They wouldn't pay for it. They're cheap. No, but it was a good time. The drive is, I mean, a lot of trucks, and these trucks, I hate when there's 2 lanes, and the one truck, the one slow truck has to pass the other slower truck, and they get in the same. And you're like,
and it's like a 1 mile per hour standoff.
Yeah, it's like
you're going 65 and you're going 66, and now this guy's decided to go 66, and this guy's the other, after being on a long road trip, and I haven't calculated my miles because I don't know, I'm around 5,000, I guess, but it's the, driving through the mountains. I'm trying to do the speed limit and maintain that, right? And I'm in the slow lane. But then you got these semi trucks that just want to go 80 on your ass. And you're like,
yeah,
okay, I get it. You drive this section every fucking day, maybe, or every other fucking day. But there's a section of Arizona Road as you're headed towards Flagstaff. I can't even remember the road, what it was 40 or something. But God, that road, I felt like Han Solo dodging the asteroid field. Like, it was just like every other, it was so bad. Like, and it would be like 10 miles had gone by and it felt like I had driven for half an hour. You're just like, when will this thing fucking end? So, yeah. So I hear you about the truckers. So it's
yeah. I mean, they were some, and then one guy, I was going, there was traffic. So I go, okay, I'm gonna go this way. He starts pulling over. He's waving his arms like, I go, fuck you. I go, it's open lane. I'm going. I drove by him. I go, no, fuck you. And I go, I hope we don't meet up again.
right.
Just driving through going. And I was like, going, what are you? And then one guy who had this thing, he was all patriotic, had this patriotic thing. I said, hey, can I get over? And he wouldn't let me over. I go, get his number. I'm gonna Yelp him. No, but I didn't. But I'm like, eventually I was able to maneuver around and got way ahead of him. And said, oh, fuck you. I'm saying it to myself because at this point I know traffic's gonna bunch up again. But it just, I'm not built for driving anymore. I don't have the patience.
My worst was coming into Salt Lake City, and I'd left seeing Nick because we got a new rental vehicle, which was this Jeep.
I saw you went out of your way to see Nick.
Well, it wasn't on the plan, but we had a problem, and then we had to be in Fort Collins. So I was like, well, I got 3 hours to kill. I guess we can see Nick.
See, if it wasn't for that, he'd have been like, fuck that guy.
We had our destination. So anyway, we get this Grand Wagoneer, which is just bus. It was like, I'm used to driving a Prius, and I'd moved up to an SUV. Okay, mid-size, I'm good. This Grand Wagoneer, I was like, what the fuck? And now I got to drive through the mountains with this thing. So from Fort Collins, we'd gone to Salt Lake City. And it was Father's Day. It was Sunday. And, blow me down.
Yeah, that sucks.
Shiver me timbers. Sorry, Sherry.
Yeah.
It's Sherry's birthday too, Nick. I don't know if you were there. But anyway,
Chris told me.
Driving into Salt Lake City on 80, you're coming down the mountain, basically. It's just like it's just you're just coming down the mountain there,
You're going down.
And it's going down, just like Nancy Reagan.
Yeah.
And 4 lanes, because she can handle that much at a time. And I'm driving in the slow lane, but there's this bus, this like Italian tour bus, that's in the middle lane going slow. And I'm trying to pass that guy, this tour bus. I'm like, what the fuck? Get out of that lane. Get in the slow lane. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm battling this guy. Get in front of this guy. Don't think anything about it. We get to our hotel. I was so fucking pissed. At the hotel where you pull up, right? And you can just go in and leave your car right there. Well, it's all packed. Like, they've got their tour bus there, and they've got. So, no, the tour bus wasn't there yet. There were these other.
Wait, so you stayed at the hotel with the tour people.
So here's the thing. So that little entryway was filled with other vehicles when I pulled up. So I thought, well, I won't.
Wait, you said it was an Italian.
Yeah, it was an
bus?
Italian tour bus.
Have you seen The Godfather? No, go ahead.
The guy that was driving it was not. So anyway, the area where you pull up to the hotel completely blocked with their own shuttle. The embassy suite or whatever the fuck it was, they have their own shuttle bus there, and you're just like, fuck, okay, I guess I'll just park. And my wife's like, well, let's get the stuff out and we'll go in. I should have just had her make a dart for it, because all of a sudden the tour bus that I just passed pulls up and pulls right next to all of this shit where it's not a parking spot.
Right.
He gets out, goes in, and everybody checks in before us. And I was so
my God.
pissed. I mean, it'd been 7 hours on the road. It's Father's Day. I drove the whole way. I'm just exhausted mentally. And now we have to, there's one person working that night. And I got to wait for the tour bus guy to hand out the keys to every single fucking person. And I'm just fuming mad. Like, I'm just like, fuck this shit. Wife gets up there, gives the lady her driver's license, name, all of that good stuff. Gives my wife the keys or the card, a little card thing.
Yeah.
Get to our room. There's an Italian woman in there. She's cussing out my wife in Italian, pissed off. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, wait, was your wife in there first?
No.
She
got the key to one of the other Italians' rooms, and then the Italian, she opens up the door. And
so the front desk made a mistake.
The front desk screwed up, so she goes all the way back down to the front desk, and she's like, "You gave me the wrong." She's like, "You're not Fanny." Now my wife doesn't have an F in her fucking first name at all. Her name doesn't even look like Fanny. It's not even close. So she's like, "Well, okay." And my wife's like, "Well, we have." I reserved a room on the 4th floor. We don't have a 4th floor. The fuck you don't. On your elevator, it's lobby, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 4th fucking floor. She finally gets her, oh, here you are. Gives her the keys. Guess where our room is? On the 4th fucking floor. I was over it.
Well, to be fair, maybe she was just frazzled because of all the people that she
no excuses. Absolutely not.
I'm trying to
have her driver's license in her hand. She could look at the goddamn name. Anyway, that was probably the only
maybe at that point, maybe she just didn't care.
That's more legit.
Okay.
This was the only time that I probably wanted to absolutely lose my shit on the entire trip. So just and we spent 16 days on the road, and kids were fine. Life was fine.
Well, it's hard to deal with because people are so rude. I mean, I know we were coming back, and I said we had to pee, and the only problem with West Virginia, not a lot of rest stops. And so when you're older, okay, I got to pee now. We pull off. Okay, rest stop.
You couldn't go in the woods.
Closed. Was it closed?
No,
that's what we ran into California. It's like rest stop next 60 miles. You get to it, closed.
No, it was a rest stop with no bathrooms. It was just it was just a rest area. Like they had picnic tables and stuff. I could have went and peed, but my wife wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, semi trucks.
So she goes, "You're not peeing if I'm not peeing." I go, "Fine." So we get off, and so
putting the handcuff.
This is where you should have pulled a Drive Miss Daisy. I know when I'm full of water, and I know whatever.
Or do Dwight Schrute and just pee in a Coke can. Yeah. But I go 23 more miles to the next rest. We get off. I go, all right, where the fuck is the rest stop? It's just trees and miles. We're driving around. I go, I can't find it. So finally we go, hey, there's a Lowe's. So we went to Lowe's, and most of the time the Lowe's bathrooms are in the back.
Yeah,
they were in the front.
Oh, nice bonus.
So we walked all the way to the back.
You got
burned. So then we go to gas. I said, let's just top it off so we can get enough gas to get home. So we pull in this BP, and it's packed. And so the person in front of me, they're eating their ice cream. They're doing this. They're washing their car with the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
I go, well, Yeah, the whole car. And I go, oh, that's really going to work when I want to wash my windows with your dirty fucking crap that's all over your. I go, that's okay. So, but then she goes, I heard her say, where's it at? So now they're stopping to look. They're done filling up. I go, what are you doing? I mean, I just want to get home. I mean, I'm tired. I just want to get home. Got about 3 hours to go, 3.5 hours to go. And she's looking for this stuff. The husband, I go, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking? They were from New York. So, okay. If you're from New York, I apologize. But let's just face it. You're from New York. You think, you know, if you're from New York, you know the people I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And so then they finally, they pull, they pull forward. But then they pulled forward. I was able to get in and get gas. But then they blocked like three people couldn't get in. People are honking at them. People, I was like going, I go, unfucking believable. How could you be so fucking? You could have just pulled forward and went in the parking space,
right,
and looked for you. I go, how could you be so fucking rude? And I've learned to keep calm because I don't have a gun. You know, I might have a knife, but I don't. It'd be like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
People shoot people. Like, a poor kid that got shot over the jet ski argument. 2 people were arguing over jet. I don't know if you heard it. And the grandfather grabbed the 7-year-old, ran to the car, and then they shot at they weren't part of the argument, but he got killed because these people were arguing about jet skis.
Jesus.
I mean, it's just a crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, the number of shootings over the 4th of July, like, you know, July 3rd, July 4th. I'm just like, can we
over nothing?
Clearly, July 4th is not the holiday in which we're polite to one another. We care about the goodness of mankind, or, you know, I don't know if that's Christmas or Thanksgiving, but
it's nothing anymore. It's just people are on their own. But I said, so I try and be calm. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go out and get my gas. I'm not going to say, because younger me would have said, the fuck are you doing? Move. Stop being so rude. But now it's like, I don't own a gun, so I can't. You know, I wouldn't want to shoot anybody anyway. Maybe, but
I will say this though, Jack. You know, in our argument of driving versus flying is that I don't care what anybody else thinks. That guy ain't real. You don't have to deal with this bullshit on an airplane. Am I right? Like,
you're right.
I mean,
right.
There are certain things that once you're committed to an airline flight, you're trapped.
Yeah.
You're fucked. You're either trapped on the tarmac, you're trapped at the airport waiting for your airplane, or you're trapped on the airplane waiting to get to the tarmac, and sometimes you're fucked with that. So, and then you're waiting for your luggage. So
yeah, it's flying is you know, people. I would never act that way on a plane, but you know, the problem, like you said, you're delayed.
Well, and
if you get on the plane, you're crammed in like sardines.
You can't even rely on the airline company to get you there, because when we flew to Disney, it was like, okay, let's plan for 2-hour layover. That seems ridiculous, but let's just 2-hour layover. That'll be safe. And sure as shit, it was good, because a lot of, you know, we had one going out, it was delayed. Well, by the time we got to it was like, well, we had an hour layover. So that 2-hour layover went down to an hour because of the plane delay. Right. On the way back, it was a whole other story, but it was still yet another fucking delay. You know, and you're just like, if you got to catch more than one airline or air flight, like, you're fucked.
I usually try and shoot for 3 hour. I go, okay,
3 hours.
I'm 3 hours. I'm fine, because that'll give me. But one time I was going to Houston. I was going to San Diego. I was going to Houston, from Raleigh to Houston to San Diego. I had a 3-hour layover in Houston and didn't make it.
Wow.
I didn't make it because the plane in Raleigh, there was a technical problem. So they're trying to fix it. I go, I knew taking off that I was already not going to make it, and got to Houston, and it was 3 hours to get my voucher to get my ticket. Actually, Cindy was on the phone getting my thing, but I get up there. I go, yeah, I want a room. And they go, for what? I go, well, it's not my fault the plane didn't make it, didn't make it in time. And there was one lady when I got in line, she was still in line at the front counter. Like 4 people are waiting on her because she's just making a scene. So there was left only one other person to wait on us. That's why the line took so long. I go, at what point do you say, okay. They kept saying, we can't help you. At what point do you walk away and say, we have to help the other customers? Let's help them and then help you. She wanted she was just being unreasonable. I said, at what point do you say, okay, we don't need 4 people waiting on her. Let's wait on the other people in line. So basically, by the time I got to the hotel, I just had to shower, just clean up a little bit and then turn around and go back. I just wanted to shower because I do.
Yeah.
I had to turn around and go the next day. But that's what's the problem is. They book so many people because if they overbook, who cares? They're making money. That's why you're having problems. And you have the weather delays and everything else. And it's just, that's why people are getting so upset when they're on again, it's not, you can't act that way.
Right.
But I understand why people are acting that way because it's just a nightmare.
So I assume that Nick saw Indiana Jones.
Nope.
Oh, you haven't seen Indiana Jones? I figured you'd have seen that.
No, I went and saw No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Was that good?
Yeah, I gave it a solid B. It's kind of in the vein of Wedding Crashers, and it's kind of just craziness of things that are happening. And it starts off really well. I'll tell you the premise of it. I won't tell you any spoilers, but I'll tell you the premise is that
it's a comedy, right?
It's a comedy. And that she's a Long Islander. She's lived there her entire life, and she doesn't have any money. And of course, like a lot of things, she is going to lose her house because all the wealthy people are coming in, and her property taxes are going up, and she doesn't have anything. And she needs a car because she wants to do like Uber so she can at least pay her property taxes to keep her home. And she comes across this ad. It's Matthew Broderick, son is like a classic shut-in. He's about to go to college, but he's never had a girlfriend, doesn't have any friends.
Wait, is Matthew Broderick in the movie?
He is, but he's not much in it. Not in it much.
But it's not. Matthew Broderick's son is a different actor.
Yeah, it's Matthew Broderick. Matthew Broderick is the dad.
Okay, all right.
But like the son is like you've never seen this kid in anything. And basically they make her an offer that they'll give her this old Buick. No, it's not too old. It's probably a 25-year-old car. If they basically get their son out of his shell. And so she's like, do you mean like just make him have a good time or have a good time? And they basically, want her to do everything she can. So she's thinking, okay, one day I'm going to have this kid, and get my car and get the fuck out of Dodge. And so the first pretty good portion of it is it's just a disaster. Like everything goes wrong for her that can go wrong. But there's definitely elements that kind of take you out of that, where I felt the writer was like, because it went from like, oh, this is a serious scene in a comedy, but so that's where it kind of sometimes takes you out of the movie, but it still is a good movie. The one thing I will tell you is a shocker is that you have a full frontal nudity of Jennifer Lawrence, and you're like, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Okay.
Did that get the kid out of his shell?
No.
Okay.
He got something else out of his shell, though.
It is a funny scene because you don't see it coming. Because I'll go ahead and tell you like what's happening is that this is I don't think it's their first date.
Is she just that comfortable because she played Mystique?
And that's what you felt. That's what you felt it was. You felt it was like a non-blue Mystique, moving around.
So
they go out into the beach, and it's at nighttime, and she's like, "Let's go skinny dipping," and she's really trying to seduce this kid, but he's so awkward. He's over going like, "Oh, it says no swimming," and like, she's just like, "Jesus Christ, there's a naked woman in front of you. Shut the fuck up," So they go out, naked out to the water, and then what naturally would happen when you leave your clothes on the beach, some kids come by and steal their clothes, and that's where I'm going to leave it. It's good. It's worth watching. It's not like a classic like Wedding Crashers or Old School or anything like that, but it's a decent film.
I heard it was funny. Randy gives a thumbs up to Asteroid City.
Oh, I gave it a thumbs down.
You saw it?
I heard mixed reviews on that.
Okay.
So I didn't see it, but a friend of mine had seen it, and she was just like, "Hey, you like Wes Anderson?" I was like, "Yeah,
I love Wes Anderson."
She was kind of like, "Well, the first part, total Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
there's another part of the movie where it goes in a different direction," and she's like, I didn't know what the fuck happened.
That's exactly. That was my. I mean, I applaud Wes because I had said this. I guess it was the
first name. You're on a first name basis. That's nice.
No, I mean, I love. I see,
like Mr. Anderson.
2 weeks ago. Like I said, like I've seen all of his films. I love his films.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first one that I was kind of like, I don't know if I like that. And I with Grand Budapest Hotel. Like I remember saying after I watched that, I don't think he can ever top this because it's peak Wes Anderson doing the same theme he'd been doing all of his career. And then starting with the French Dispatch, which was his last film, he really decided to do something different. And this one, he's doing something different as well. I mean, yes, the shots are the same, but he's not doing the family issues stories anymore.
Okay.
And what this is it's one of those I'm going to need to watch it again.
I guess Tom Hanks took the place of Bill Murray.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I agree.
That's what I heard. Because Bill Murray was set to play the Tom Hanks character, and
that makes sense.
And then he was ill, or there was something that happened with Bill Murray where he couldn't do it. So
is that the one where he was basically fired from?
No, I didn't hear that he was fired. I just heard that
there's a movie where he was problems on the set. I don't know if it's
that was Charlie's Angels.
No. It was recently.
Oh, recently.
It would surprise me he would have problem with Wes Anderson because he's been in so many of his. Kind of know what to expect there.
There are moments. There are moments in Asteroid City that are good, that are really good, and then there's some like that's mainly like. So there's a line towards the end of the film that
he crosses and he can never go back.
That with the Coppola kid, he doesn't have the Coppola in his name, but the one that's been
Nicolas Cage,
the one that's in Rushmore, the main guy in Rushmore.
Okay.
Jason Schwartzman. Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
There's a line Jason Schwartzman says towards the end of the film where
he's a Coppola.
Yeah,
he's a Coppola.
I never knew that.
Adrian's his mom, and she's a Coppola.
I knew she was a Coppola.
Yeah. So there's a line that he says where he goes, "I don't know what it's about. Should I just keep going?" And that's how I summarize the film. It's
okay, kind of like how I summarize The Way of Water, as it has no beginning, has no end.
Yeah, it's just like okay, but I mean, there's. And right, it's got moments that are good, and it's like I said, I'm going to give it another shot and watch it, when I can, and reassess.
Jackson Gladfelder says Mission Impossible 7 early release tomorrow in Singapore.
Okay, I didn't even know what Mission Impossible this was. I saw an advertisement for it, and I was like, "Fuck, this is part 1, and it's like 2 hours and 45 fucking minutes." Okay, whatever.
You've never seen a Mission Impossible?
No, I've seen them. I've seen some.
Okay.
I haven't stayed with them all. It's like I may have seen.
It's my close personal friend. That's why I got to see it. Because
sure. Yeah,
but he does his own stunts, which is which is crazy.
He'll die, but yeah, that's fine. So
he'll die happy.
No, the trailer looked good, and I heard that it's
Tom Cruise got all butthurt because it was supposed to open up third week of July, but Oppenheimer already had claim over all the IMAX theaters.
Oh,
so Tom Cruise pulled his weight and released it a week early so he could get IMAX theaters.
That movie looks like a blast. I think
yeah. I heard that it's like a horror movie. So
well, it's close. Did you ever watch the show?
It looks really good, by the way.
There was a show on for a couple. It was a couple seasons where they had it was what was it called? TV show on TBS, I think, about building the bomb and all that stuff.
Fat Man and the Little Boy.
I don't know. The girl that played Marvelous Miss Maisel, she was in it.
Oh, okay.
Mrs. Maisel, I should say. But yeah.
One of my favorite TikToks I saw, it was like it was talking about the Barbie movie and how there's this like the Barbie like for promotional stunt they like had this pink Malibu house done, and then it said like Japanese watching for Oppenheimer's like watching for any promotional like material that would be coming out for that movie. With the different,
Is that too soon?
It is way too soon.
Oh, Manhattan. Thanks, Matt K. Manhattan Project, which I should have. That was the name of the project, so I couldn't figure.
So we, my son and I, we went to see the Indiana Jones movie. I really wanted to see that. So I was like, made a point to go see that yesterday. And it's just hot. The air quality is not great. It's like, what do you do? He's like, I guess go see a movie. So we went to see that, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't want to give anything away. I think there's certain things in the trailer that I thought, oh, maybe this might happen, or it subverted my own thought of what the plot was going to be. Mm-hmm. So, and afterwards, my son and I were like, yeah, that was really good. Like, we were kind of like both like,
I saw Colleen liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me because I think I went in with lower expectations too, like thinking, oh, this isn't going to be as good as these things. And
Nick and Chris have been saying they heard nothing but bad reviews about it for the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I tend to not like to watch or read any reviews. Even when I see an IMDb review on something, I'm like, really? Because I feel like this is just a bunch of like He-Man woman haters sitting around in their underwear fucking off like that.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need your opinion going into this. I can just enjoy it for what it is,
Right.
So, and to me, it was more plausible than the last movie in many ways. So,
well, the last one sucked. Yeah. I was so bored with the last one. I was just like, okay, this is just boring.
I've gone back, and I still say that the first 45 minutes to an hour of the last one has the elements, but I think that what they did with his sidekick Mac in that one just and even Mutt, just didn't pay off. But I enjoyed how this one went. I don't want to give anything away. I'm sure there's things that you can kick the tires of and say, well, this is this or this is that. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. And for a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, I didn't feel like.
Who was it? Was it directed by Spielberg?
No, Mangold. James Mangold, I think is who. Manigold, something like that.
Most people I've talked to in the last few days that have seen it, they kind of said what you said. Like, I enjoyed it, but they said it needed a little bit more editing. Said it should have been more closer to 2 hours than 2.5. And mostly what they chose to complain about was just the chase scenes. They're like, like the horse scene in New York, and then like the car chase. Like those could have been cut down to
maybe. I don't know.
It's no French Connection as far as
I didn't. Right. I guess I didn't. Those parts didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. So I didn't walk out of the movie theater exhausted by it. Like, oh, my ass is hurting and like this is boring or something to me. And it was something again that my son and I, we were like, because we've been kind of more into the Indiana Jones kind of field of movies more so than. Although my daughter watched the fourth one, and that was the only one that she's seen. No, she saw Raiders. Oh, okay. She saw Raiders, and then I want to say my son and I watched Temple of Doom, and maybe she came in on part of that. So, I could see that, but also I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt what I have to say, but I enjoyed it. So
I mentioned last week that
expectations for it. So.
I mentioned last week, Matt, you weren't here, but my oldest daughter, her husband, my son-in-law, has never seen any of them. I go, and I gave you permission to marry my daughter? What the fuck? He goes, I haven't seen them. I go, really? And so we didn't talk the rest of the day.
Third one is such a great film to watch on. Like, it's such a father-son movie.
Right.
The third one. So it has so much heart to it that it's really hard to top.
That's the one with Sean Connery, right?
Sean Connery, yeah. That's my. I mean,
and they.
The second one, which I've seen, and it has merit because I love Short Round. Mm-hmm. But once you get past Short Round, and it's just a lot of Willie running around screaming at bullshit.
Right.
And to me, it doesn't have as much legs as even what the fifth one has.
Well, she never had to act again because she married the producer.
Right. Well, she was in Space
Kim
Camp.
Cattrall?
That's not
No.
Kim Cattrall.
Wait, wasn't she? Who am I
Kim
confusing?
Cattrall's not in that movie.
No,
No, I'm confusing her with somebody else.
Yeah, you are.
She was married. She married Spielberg.
Spielberg. She met Spielberg.
Yeah, that's right. She nailed Spielberg. But why? What a wasted. I don't know. She's a very one-dimensional character in that way.
Yeah, and she hated that too.
she's
Like if you watch it, that was her complaint, is that she had just gotten out of like acting school, and
she's just a damsel in distress the entire fucking time.
And it's more in line.
Kate Capshaw.
Yeah,
Kate Capshaw. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it's more in line of the James Bond film than it is an indie film, in the fact that up to that point, all the James Bond women had always been damsels, or someone who wasn't really professional. They were just some woman he could sleep with, and that's what she really complained about that in Temple of Doom.
Even Raiders of the Lost Ark, you can make an argument that
Marion
was a strong character.
She's strong. She's a strong character until she hooks up with Indy again.
Yeah,
she had to be rescued.
It's not until she's.
I know it's not the. I know it's not the same, but
she's still fighting for her way to get out of captivity.
Yeah.
When she thinks that he's dead in the tent.
Right.
There's that whole moment. I mean, I don't know.
She's a strong character, but she's not. It's not.
How much of Marion's character though is based off the fact that Harrison Ford had an affair with Carrie Fisher? Like the backstory for her.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
The backstory. There's a line in there that I'm like, was George Lucas and Steven Spielberg just fucking with Harrison Ford?
Right.
Because there's a line where she says, like, I was a child.
Yeah.
You took advantage. And it's like, yeah, she was 19 in Star Wars and he was married.
She's not a child.
And he was like 32 too. So
yeah.
She's an adult. she grew up in Hollywood.
He was not wearing space underwear the entire time in a white gown, running around with a 30-year-old man that's just basically like,
hey, baby.
You want to go?
She had a rough life. Her dad left his mom for Elizabeth Taylor. Come on, that's
okay. She turned out okay. At least she didn't have any drug issues and ended up dying young.
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, Matt, about really enjoying Last Crusade.
She's in the Blues Brothers.
Yes, she is. I think of Raiders kind of like Revolver with the Beatles, and Crusade as Abbey Road.
Pepper.
Okay. And that I will always listen to Abbey Road for enjoyment, but I will always say that Revolver's the better record.
Okay.
Because I think that I think Raiders is the best film as a film, but I will watch Crusade three times out of 2 times out of 3 over pick it over.
She talks in her
sleep. Yeah. Ships the past of the night. Did
Let
you know
it go!
that
Don't grab it.
The scene in the Zeppelin, they actually did that scene with no pants on because it was so hot.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that's why it's shot the way it's shot because
Kim Rodriguez does not like Kate Capshaw.
Well, I mean, she is. She's annoying as shit in that movie.
Yeah.
But again, it's not. It's almost like Kate from Lost. It's not her fault they took the character the direction they took the character.
But Kate in Lost at least has some gumption, like she actually goes after shit, Yeah,
but she's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I didn't see it till my 19th rewatch. I'm like going, all right, I see it now. I get what people are talking about. I get it because I used to defend her. I defended her all the time. But again, it's not her fault that the character went the direction.
Well, I mean that is something with signing up for a TV show. I mean, there's a lot of actors that I'm sure I think my wife was saying that the actress that played Phoebe from Friends did not like her character at all, and I thought, what? How is that possible? She's
so similar to that character too.
Phoebe's one of my favorite characters from the show. She has some of the funniest lines when you rewatch
Smelly cat.
Well, and I mean, she just has these really non sequitur, basically in the last couple seasons of Friends, it's her and Joey have some of the funniest shit to say.
Yeah.
because we were on the road, and you get, you're just in a hotel, so you just get cable TV or whatever random is on. So a lot of times we'd be like, oh, hey, here's a Modern Family, or here's Friends that we can watch.
Mhm.
And so
Here's that porn network I had to pay extra for. But
so the kids that we were with, they've not seen.
Did they chip in for the porn? No.
You're really turning this dark and creepy. No, we've watched a lot of different TV sitcoms with them, so we've seen all of Modern Family. That's probably like a go-to. We watch that one quite a bit. But
and
Friends,
it holds up actually.
There's some really funny shit.
Some of it, the last season of Modern Family is utter shit.
they should have stopped it a couple years.
Yeah,
because they tried to keep the kids involved with it, and it wasn't working.
Sure, plot wise, I get that, but there is the writing though on some of those episodes though. We were just watching one the other day with Fred Willard, who plays Phil's dad, and he's getting married again. It's the one where it's like his bachelor party, and like Phil's got these singers that come in and they're like, singing bum 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 bum, and they're Mr. Sen, and they're like doing this whole like thing, and I think it's Fred Willard says like, I don't know if I should be hearing all these bum bum bums before I get married. It's just the way that Fred Willard delivers the line. It's such a
Fred Willard was hilarious.
He was really hilarious. It was sad. It's sad. The episode when he passes is like it really gets you. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with Matt.
I disagree. I think this first season isn't still. They really get their juices flowing in the. I recommend that you watch.
You know what I think the problem with Modern Family was they were being pressured to be more relevant and more this instead of just being a comedy.
Yeah,
and I think they buckled under the pressure, and because people say, it should be more than just a comedy. No, it's a comedy. Just be a comedy, and I think that's one of the reasons why it went down. Because Manny in the first 4 or 5 seasons is hilarious, but as he got older, it just didn't work. His character just didn't work. But I think that was I can remember Jay and I talking about it on the old Ramblecast. I go, no, just let it be a comedy. Why does it have to be something that, why does it have to be something that's serious or that means something? No, just make me laugh for 22 minutes. That's all I want.
They're Jay and Gloria's son. There's
younger.
I mean, yeah, he's like, he comes along later, but he has some really funny lines too, where he's like, what if you had Christmas all the time? And he's got this whole plan where he's going to capture Santa Claus and kidnap him. And it's just like a throwaway moment in an episode, but it's funny. So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. My kids haven't seen all the way through Friends because, again, I'm kind of with Nick. Like Friends, of all things, I think has a bigger deal of why it should have ended sooner. Although I don't agree when Nick says that it should have ended.
In the 4th season.
Yeah, I think it could have, but
I thought Friends. It was the last couple of seasons. It was like, okay, this is.
I didn't like them bringing Ross and Rachel. The way they brought Ross and Rachel back together. It just doesn't work to me. It does not work.
Yeah, like that's where just about every sitcom goes wrong, though. It's like we've talked about that with the New Girl, like with lots of shows.
Oh yeah,
is that once you run out of those original ideas and then you start making a show of like, will they, won't they get together?
Yeah.
To me, the show is nowhere near as good. And that's why I say, like, even though like I've said this many times on this podcast with Friends, is that there's so many good episodes past the 4th season of Friends. They're absolute classics. But as plot wise, if you end it at the wedding in London, when Rachel shows up and she just shows up and crashes the wedding and says, no, I want you. And then that's it. That's a perfect ending for that show.
Yeah.
It was making too much money though.
It's making too much money. Yeah.
I get it. But a show like, go ahead, Matt.
Well, even like the setup with Joey and Rachel made more sense at some point because the way they shipped them, and then they just did a hard left. So, my kids haven't seen all of Friends. They've just seen kind of bits and pieces, but we just happened to jump in on the last season on while we were on the road. And again, to Nick's point, plot wise, where the story's going doesn't make any sense. But some of the things that they did writing wise, where Rachel makes up a story about her boss wanting to buy her baby, and Joey going in and be like, you don't buy people's babies, you know, and like, and then it ends up helping her because she gets this maternity leave, and just that whole scene with her talking to her boss, and like the boss has got HR there, and he's like, I just want to make it clear, when I asked for when your due date was, I was not implying that was my baby, that I wanted to buy your baby. I mean, that whole storyline is just like, it still works. It's still hilarious as shit, you know. Some of the other stuff that was going on, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, I can take it or leave it, you know. So
well, I was going to say the reason Seinfeld worked all the way up until the end, they didn't give a shit.
Right.
mm-hmm.
They didn't buckle to the pressure to say, okay, we have to do this. We can go with Larry David. He didn't give it. You know, Larry David's going to do it.
Well,
Larry
he was
David
gone by the last season, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I want to say that he didn't, like, I thought Larry David left at some point.
Did he to do his own thing? Either way, I mean, they didn't give a shit. They said, this is what we're doing. Either you watch it, because I think Jerry Seinfeld even said, he goes, well, we didn't care. He goes, either you watched it or you didn't.
Well, and he wanted to go out on top.
Yeah, and
he didn't want it to dip. So the fact that they were going up and up and up and up.
Well, I'm saying a lot of shows buckled, like I said, Modern Family, I think, buckled to the pressure of people saying, oh, you got to do it. It has to be more than just comedy, or it has to be. I forget what the word people use. It's like, you know, it's just like. But most shows go on, like MASH went on too long. All in the Family became Archie's Play. It went on too long. It lost it once. Meathead and Gloria left. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. Once they left, the show was not the same because it was the friction between Mike and Archie. You know, the extreme liberal to the extreme conservative that made the show work. And of course, things that we'd never heard about. Of course, I'd never heard. I was just a kid. I'd never heard about, which made it work. But yes, most shows go on too long.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was that era, though. I went. Denver's Comic-Con was last weekend, and I was in line, and I was.
Oh, did you get the autograph?
I did. Yeah, I sent you guys the photo. I guess you didn't see it. I'll tell you that story in a second. But I was making an argument to a guy that was like in his mid-20s about 90s and older television. And I was like, people shit on Lost. I was like, but without Lost, I was like, Lost is the show that broke the ice for writers and showrunners to say, like, I only want to do 3 seasons. I only want to do 4 seasons.
Oh, we wouldn't have Breaking Bad.
Exactly. I was like, Lost is that show that got TV out of the 24 to 30 episodes per season. Just keep it going. It's like
made it more like Europe, like London. Like
exactly.
Well, and to that point,
England.
Ted Lasso, with the 3 seasons, you know, and remaining solid. I didn't, maybe I knew, but I didn't know, but Jason Sudeikis being the nephew of George Wendt.
Yeah,
you guys know that? Okay.
Yeah, I knew that.
And so then there's a little nod to Cheers in the last episode, which was really cool. And so I was like, oh, okay, because of that. And then, you know, so I was like, oh, that's really clever. So, but you know,
they should have had someone in the pub come in and say, Norm.
Well, the way they did it is like she adjusts the picture of Geronimo, and the very next scene is what's his name, the reporter guy. He's at a book signing and he says, thanks, cheers, or something like that, like the way that they did the wording there. So even though it's not in that scene, it's in the next scene, thanks, cheers is said. So I was like, oh, that's some fucking clever writing there. So and I just want to say that Ted Lasso, I felt, delivered on certain promises that were set up. It didn't leave us with a hole. It was just like, hey, we're gonna give you this moment that you want to see. You want to see these things happen. We're not gonna hold it back, you know. And I liked that, you know. I also like a good epilogue. So
I also before I forget, I finished The Sessions.
And okay. Secession.
I did like the ending.
Yeah,
I thought I don't want.
You understand it. You understand the ending. Yeah, but you're kind of like, oh, that's where they went.
Because they're setting it up like, okay, everything's gonna. Spoiler. They're setting it up like everything's gonna change, and these people are finally gonna find happiness and all this different stuff. And it turns out that these people are just broken.
Right.
It just the cycle continues that someone becomes the next Logan that you didn't
Wolverine?
expect. Yeah, you didn't expect him to become the next Logan,
Right.
because of his. But it just, I liked it. I'm going to miss the show.
Trauma begets trauma.
But like, wasn't the funeral episode unbelievably good? You know, I loved the older brother explaining why he was the way he was. And then I loved McCulkin's breakdown. Like, it was just like, oh my God, like that was so good.
And they used it against him.
Yeah, they did. Isn't that so sad? I know. Like, the one time he's vulnerable and fuck
yeah, but I said, okay, I'm gonna miss this show. I took a while because I was like going, okay, I don't want it to end. So I was like stalling. I said, okay, I gotta cut. I just gotta cut to the chase. I also watched the American Gladiators, muscles and whatever it is behind the scenes. Because we talked about it last week. I love watching American Gladiators. I even was training to be a contestant. I was taking weight gain and all. I was going to be a contestant on American Gladiators, but
I didn't know that. Okay, so this makes more sense about like the Survivor tryout too. You know, like,
well, I didn't get that far, but I was like, okay, I need to put on some weight and I need to put on some muscles. I was doing the weight gain stuff. Then the show got canceled, so fuck it. Anyway, but it's really interesting behind the scenes stuff about all the steroid use, all the drug use, all the how they basically got screwed. I mean, they got nothing for the merchandise, zero for the merchandise, nothing. They basically is it Goldwyn or Goldman? The production company. He
Goldwyn.
said, he said, you signed a contract. I don't renegotiate. My dad didn't renegotiate. I'm not renegotiate. So he would not renegotiate. I mean, they got zero from the merchandise.
Well, no wonder.
Zero. And these people were like, and because they eventually fired Nitro, Ice, Gemini, and who was the other one? Sky, I think. No, it wasn't Sky. They fired 4 of the main ones, and the show was never the same because, like they said, people were saying that even the producers were saying it was the gladiators that you turned in for, not the contestants.
Exactly.
And anyway, it was if you're a fan of American Gladiators, it's on Netflix. It's Muscle and something, and Muscles and I can't remember what it is, but it just do American Gladiators and it'll show up. I found it pretty. They're like 45-minute episodes maybe, and they talk to a lot of the gladiators and the issues they went through, and and how the show started out. It was, and they had one person. She just blew out her knee. Boom, out she went. They just cut her. Nothing. Damn. She got nothing out. And they were talking about Malibu, Muscles of Mayhem. Thanks, Matt K. They were talking about this one Malibu. I don't know if you remember Malibu. He was the blonde hair. And I always said, I go, he's big, but he's not athletic. So they talked about that, how he wasn't athletic. He wasn't this, and he had to leave the show because of concussions and broken ribs. And they just, you're gone. You're out of here. It was almost like the NFL. You're out, you're gone. We have no use for you.
Wow.
It's kind of like how the Army treats veterans.
Exactly.
Once we use you, that's it. We don't want to pay for anything.
We don't want to do anything, but it's it's sad. It's some of the stuff is like sad because again, the show was it was a big deal. It was a big deal back in the late 80s, early 90s. But man, they talked. I didn't realize they had a road show where they went. I do remember this. They went to different cities and traveled to different cities and how they were on the road. And it just, they made some money off that, but they said they didn't make a lot of money on the show. The show was making bank. And like Nitro said, he goes, we just want you to share a little bit of it. And they said, no. And he said, either you go back to work or you're fired. And they fired him.
Wow.
Just said, bye. But yeah, it's an interesting, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So to go back to the Denver Comic-Con, which is called Expo Con, it was a big deal this year. Like they had a lot of people, as in celebrities. But it's to the point now where I was talking to an autograph guy. He has like the booth, just full of stuff that's already signed, that you can buy.
Oh, he's selling the autographs, yeah.
Yeah, and he was telling me how in the last 4 or 5 years it's gotten out of hand with the publicists and agents and all that, to where if you want someone like Chris Evans or someone to be at one of those shows, or even just
my twin.
Yeah, or even just like rent them for the day so they can just sign a whole bunch of stuff. It's like they'll be like, oh, he wants a guaranteed $250,000, and so that's what's driving the autograph tickets now. Whereas it used to not be that way. The actor would be like, oh yeah, I'll sign this for $30 or $20 or $60, and he was saying like the most ridiculous one is Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man, said he's $1 million a day.
Wow.
And that's the main. So but that's what I'm saying. Like if this would have been 6 years ago, I would have spent a lot of money and probably gotten every single person's autograph, a photograph of all these people. But every single one of them was $80 or more. And it wasn't like $80 and you can get an autograph and a photo. It was like $80 for the autograph, another $80 for a photo, another $80 for and so it's like, dude, you're dropping how much money on all this shit. And so I only went for one reason, and one reason only, is because, so for everyone out there, I'm pretty sure Matt and Jack know.
Yeah, you shared.
Yeah, I have in 2007 for the 30th anniversary of New Hope, the U.S. Post Office released a sheet of stamps, and I forget what made me start doing it, but somebody was somewhere and I needed something for them to sign. So I had that sheet of stamps on me and I got them to sign it. And from that point on, I've kind of made it a goal. If I know one of the Star Wars actors is going to be somewhere, I will get them to sign on their stamp. And so this year, Hayden Christensen was there at the Denver Expo convention. So I went down there just to meet him and get his autograph. And of course I get there, immediately go to his booth, get my ticket, to go meet him and get his autograph. And they're like, "Oh yeah, yours." Did you
take cuts?
You cannot cut.
Oh, okay.
I could have. I mean, the thing is, it was. I probably could have if I really went to bed. I was. So I had a 2:30 time slot. I get there at 1:30. People are already lining up for the 2:30.
Wow.
So I get in line. Then immediately someone comes out and goes, "He is extremely delayed for all the photographs." Like when you actually get your photograph with them, he's like, "So we're looking at a 2-hour delay."
Whoa, oh my God. Fuck.
So yeah, so and the thing is that no one gets out of line. And I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'm not getting out of line because I don't want to be at the very back now. So I wait there all the way to 4:30. And then I probably don't meet him till around 5, something like that. But what I really liked, and it wasn't just me that noticed it, the guy in front of me in line and the guy behind me in line, most of the time when they're signing stuff, they just kind of like, they just move it, sign, move it, sign, move it. He actually stopped on mine and was like, and picked it up and looked at it and was like, this is cool. Because like I had so many autographs on it already.
And you have Carrie Fisher too.
I have Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Jeremy Bullock, Ray Park, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels. Like the only ones I'm missing now are Natalie Portman, Harrison Ford, and Ewan McGregor. So I'll most likely get Ewan McGregor's probably in the next 5 or 6 years. Do
you want me to call Natalie Portman for you and have her sign?
Oh, I mean, Natalie's never done a convention yet, so it's one of those things where I know eventually she probably will.
You want me to call Conan because I hear he's talking to Harrison Ford.
Well, yeah. The thing about, I mean, I would love for Harrison to sign it, but it's one of those things where the last time he did a signing, the way he does signings is he does mail-in. So he'll announce like, "Hey, I'm doing this mail-in signing." You mail whatever you want signed to him with an $800 check, and he'll autograph it. It's like, I really want to spend $800 on a freaking autograph.
Jeez. That's a lot of weed.
It's a lot of weed, yeah.
But just imagine Harrison Ford just like smoking a joint, like signing this shit. Like,
no, he's got someone signing it for him.
Probably.
You could tell Hayden was a pretty good sport, though. He was tired. He'd been doing it all day. But the guy in front of me goes, "I was trying to think of a really good jumper line to say to you, but I can't remember one." And Hayden looks and goes, "Yeah, I can't either."
Well, you can kind of, I can see why these actors want money up front because, let's face it, they're making tons of money making the movies.
Yeah.
But, right? But it gets to a point, it's like, okay, do I want to fly to Denver? Do I want to fly to Raleigh? Do I want to fly? I mean, it's just like.
But to me, it's one of those things where if you're already making $10 million on a film, why be a dick when and charge your fans so much money?
Because that's what they're gonna do.
But also, I mean, like, okay, so you're Tom Holland. You've been in a couple you've been in the 3 Spider-Man movies. You are Spider-Man until you're cut.
Yeah.
And then you're Andrew Garfield looking for your way back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for some of these actors, I mean, even Mark Hamill, he's like, Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, and then nothing. Like, he could do voice acting for a while.
Stuff,
what do you mean, Corvette Summer? Did you forget about that?
That was between Star Wars and Empire, but I'm saying post Return of the Jedi, he was Luke Skywalker, and he's on the outside looking in, and you don't get.
Well, I'm sure back then he went to. Well, there was probably only comic.
But I mean, like even like, okay, Andrew Garfield went on to do other shit besides Spider-Man, but I mean, he got 2 Spider-Man movies, and he was lucky to get that.
I'm just saying, do you want to sit there and sign autographs all day long?
Right.
And hope you make money. Or do
you take that $1 million and you go to Vegas and
you put it all in black. Put it all in black.
No, put it on 00.
God, you have a 1% chance.
What if it hits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another actor he told me about. Is that I got Mark Hamill to sign that the year before The Force Awakens.
Oh, sure.
And it was $180 for his signature then, which I even thought then was expensive.
Yeah.
He told me now it's $500. So he's like, yeah, everything is shot up. Which
RCAD convention. How much are the hosts charging for? You can't afford me, John.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, Jack only signs boobs. That's it.
I only sign boobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Male boobs.
Oh, they can't be. It doesn't really matter.
Struggle,
a boob's a boob.
Okay, you don't discriminate.
I don't discriminate. I'm an open boob signer.
I always wanted, just to have my signature tattooed on me. Like I signed myself. Like, okay, it's done.
But that autograph guy. Sorry if you guys interrupt. But I sent you guys this picture as well. Like the autograph guy was really a cool dude, and I was looking through his stuff, and because I'd been talking to him for a while, he goes, if you find anything you like, I'll make you a good deal.
Yeah, don't look us in the eyes.
No,
we don't like that.
And so I noticed this kind of like hiding, like nothing really out on display. And I said, how much for this? I was like, this will get a kick. So for everyone out there, this is an autographed photo of original Uncle Owen.
Uncle Owen from the A New Hope.
Before the barbecue.
Before the barbecue.
Before the prequels.
Yeah, this is just when he just stood in one location and was determined and just went, Luke.
You want to be like his friends. You want to join them.
But I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Why not? What are the odds of finding that?
Well, you better be out on the South Ridge before midday, or there'll be hell to pay.
And so, if anyone's curious out there, this is the 2007 stamps, and I know it's hard to see, but
it's looking good.
But they're all signed, pretty much. But nice. you can't really see. There's Hayden's right there.
Oh, nice! Right on Darth Vader's chest.
Yeah, that's right there. Because he looked at me, and I said, because I was right. He's 1 foot from me, and I just put my finger sign it right there. And he went on the breastplate, and I went, "Yep." And he was like, "Okay."
Any Next Generation BSGers? Katie
Sackhoff
has her own.
I love me some BSG,
and
I love Katie Sackhoff.
Well, Katie Sackhoff was there,
but can we talk about what she claimed? She said that 2% was 2% of American males want her to sit on her face. It was something like that.
It's probably greater than 2%.
I said it's going to be a little higher than that. That was I said, come on, it's got to be a little higher than that.
At least she's being modest.
Even Apollo.
At least she's being modest. At least she's being modest. She's like, okay, 2%. So it's not like she's pointing her shot and saying, okay, 50% of all men.
But it's
she knows half of them are gay.
It's well over 2%. Anyway, go ahead, Nick.
No, there's lots of people there. Did someone say something about Star Trek? Oh, BSGers. Oh, any
BSG.
Next Generation BSG.
Yep.
Yeah, just Katie Sackhoff was there from BSG. But she was really there for the Mandalorian because you had Katie Sackhoff, you had the Armorer, you had Moff Gideon, you also had the little girl who played Leia and Obi-Wan, and I won't say I'm forgetting somebody, but there was a few Star Wars people there. And my wife and I are making our way through BSG right now. Watch season,
Let's switch gears to these asshats. Yeah, season 2, episode 18. You're getting close to the end of season 2, I would think. Isn't there like 10 episodes in the first half, 10 in the second half?
It's 2.0 and then 2. Again, I told the story.
2.5.
It was so frustrating trying to catch up back in the day because I go, all right, I got season 2, and I go, wait a minute. There's a 2.5. There's a 2.5.
Well, it was brilliant what they did because it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and they never got great numbers with BSG.
It wasn't brilliant when you're trying to catch up.
Well,
I
season 1 was the only one where they did it like a traditional show in like a fall and a spring because that's why they split it in half because they did it in summer and winter, and so that way they get more viewers
and budget
budget
reasons.
It's almost time for me to do another rewatch
or a commercial break.
Wow, it's almost.
At this time we're going to take a commercial break. 2% of us.
All right, you're really close to season 3, and I don't want to like set the expectations high. Season 3 is probably my favorite season, so just because of how it begins and how it ends. The bookends of season 3.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
The first 4 episodes of season 3 is like basically a fucking movie. It's like a
yes.
So
the whole show's amazing.
The whole show's good. Like I said, aside from Black Market, that's the only filler episode of the entire show. It's good.
I didn't hate Black Market.
I didn't hate it.
There's another one. There's another one where there's like a medical like outbreak or a plague. Like it's not a plague, but there's like a medical kind of thing like in another season that is kind of a filler episode. Maybe it's in season 3 that I was like, oh, this one kind of drags.
I think the episode that sold me on the show was I think it was the second one where the
22.
jump. Where they had to keep. They had to keep jumping. It was 33, wasn't it?
33 or whatever 33. It is. It's the minutes that they have before each jump.
Technically the first episode of season 1.
Yeah.
Because you have the mini series and then you have season 1.
Right.
I jumped in on this show halfway into season 2. My former, friend, passed away. Ed, he was always after me to watch BSG, and we finally hung out one night, and he's, let's watch this together. And I think we had a couple drinks and we're watching it, and I was like, okay, this is really good, Ed. I'll keep watching it. And it's funny because he was also always after me to watch Star Trek Enterprise. Mm-hmm. And I finally caught a couple episodes of Star Trek Enterprise, and I was like, oh, I see why you liked this, Ed. It's the Vulcan girl on this. This is because he's, I was like, oh, okay, I see why.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Will's right. Like Will Fry, sorry, like he said, Scar is a filler too. I was like, yeah, it is, but everyone likes a good dogfight.
Yeah, I like it.
It's good. It's good shit.
But yeah, season 1 has a lot of good episodes. Because I remember, the episode where Baltar, and he is not sure if he's seeing her or not, and then he was
recently on a plane and left it.
Oh, really?
Because he wasn't sure.
Yeah, if she was real. It's actually a good. Yeah,
that's a good callback.
But it's like it's in season 1, where all the little spy devices are all throughout the thing, and then they think he's the one who put it there, and it's just I mean, he did such a good job in playing.
Yeah, no, his character. I think the actor that played Apollo,
Band of Brothers,
Jamie.
He's a Brit.
He was kind of jealous of because he was like he would have rather played his part because he had more range. Baltar could go in all of these different directions with his character and probably had the most variety of things to do. But anyway, TikTok Stitch though, either that from BSG or the They Live or whatever with the glasses where like they see like aliens, like that would be another good one to do with that woman on a plane.
That was one of my favorite Comic-Cons. I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2010, but they used to have an official picks booth on the floor at Comic-Con, and they would get casts to just be at the booth, and you could just go around the table and get your photo and autographs and all that. And I just remember talking to all of the cast members, almost all of them, about Star Galactica, and
except for Edward James Olmos, who would not look at you in the eye.
He was actually a really nice guy. The funny ones I remember though were Hogan, the XO.
Oh yeah, no, I loved his character.
He got up, and because I asked him for a photograph, and he looks at me and he goes, "How's my hair look?" And I was just like, "Yeah," just died laughing. And then
he became one of my favorite characters in the entire show. Like you just and I think he did a really great job of nailing that character. Even though he doesn't deviate that much, the way he plays that character is so true from beginning of the show to the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's. Are you muted?
Jack's muted. Yourself? You're muted, Jack. What the hell?
How did that happen?
Best producer.
I used to do a great Edward.
Oh, he lost his mic. That's what happened.
Am I back?
We can hear you, but it switched to your computer mic, not your actual mic.
Kind of delayed a little bit.
You sound like you're in a hallway.
Tunnel. It's like amateur hour at the podcast.
I know.
Am I can you hear me? Mom, can you hear me?
Still. Just back away. Just back away.
Anyway, I used to do a great Edward James Olmos from Miami Vice. You guys seen Miami Vice?
Yeah.
It was just you have Crockett and Tubbs do all this different stuff. They're yelling and screaming. He was the the guy in charge. He would just walk around. He'd go, okay, and that would be his big line, and move on to the next thing. If you watch it, he literally is just like, okay, and then the Crockett and Tubbs would go do whatever they wanted to do.
Well,
I just noticed that when I watched Miami Vice. But
apparently, when he signed up to do a BSG, he was just like, I don't want to be fucking talking to some goddamn alien. Like he was like, I'm not gonna be talking to some guy in a suit. I don't know if that was coming off of the whole Star Trek genre, and he just did not want that. But he was just like,
oh, he's great on the show,
and he has this thing apparently with acting where he doesn't look at certain people in the eye. He saves that, and he did this on Miami Vice too. He avoids looking directly at any of the actors until he wants to make a point.
Well, that explains why he would go, okay. But I don't think him and Don Johnson didn't get along.
I mean, Don Johnson's a dick anyhow.
Don Johnson at the height of Miami Vice,
he was cool.
I
dressed like Don Johnson.
I'm just saying, every story I've ever heard of Don Johnson, in the movie Tin Cup, is that he's almost dead on. That's what he's really like in real life.
I believe it because after Miami Vice, where do you go from there? You think you're the coolest shit in the world.
Well, let's face it. Everybody would not shave. You'd
right?
Half shave. You'd get that stupid coat. I had the stupid coats, and I would walk around with no socks. I'd walk around with a handgun. Was able to kill people with Uzis.
That's nice.
I was able to just roll. I'd duck and roll, and boom, one shot would kill these guys shooting 100 bullets a minute at me. I could do that.
You'd walk around with Phil Collins playing in the background.
Exactly. It's like when Magnum PI decided they started doing Miami Vice.
Now, have you guys seen the Chip and Dale comparison?
Yes.
To Indiana Jones and Magnum PI.
Yeah, it's dead on.
Basically, Chip is wearing the jacket of Indiana Jones,
leather and the hat.
Dale's wearing the
flower shirt.
The flower shirt.
Because he was supposed to be.
He was all set to be.
Yeah.
He was set to be Indiana Jones. He did the test footage, everything, and then
couldn't get out of the Miami Vice.
Couldn't get out of
and then there was a strike. I think there was a writer's strike, right? There was something happened where all the Magnum PI was pushed back 8-9 months, so he could have done the movie.
Oh,
but
I
something
still can't
happened.
See Tom Selleck doing it though.
He must have such a blue balls over that. Think about it.
He was not hurting. You look at him in the 80s though. He was making
no, he wasn't hurting, but that became such an iconic character.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I think he could have pulled it off because of how his character was in Magnum PI.
Yeah,
and I always felt sorry for Tom Selleck because You look at him.
He's like 90 and he still looks good. How can you fucking feel sorry for Tom Selleck?
I sorry for him when he.
I felt sorry for him in the fact that, like, you look at when Magnum ended, he was at the peak of his career.
Mhm.
You know, he got 3 Men and a Baby, and then just even though I enjoyed the movies he did,
Mr. 3000, right? Is that what it was?
That's with the guy that died. Mr. Baseball. I
Mr.
love
Baseball.
I love Mr. Baseball. Yeah,
but like
Sorry.
it bombed. Mr. Baseball bombed, and then there's another one he did that also bombed. I love Quickly Down Under, but like
I liked Quickly Down Under.
yeah, but they weren't.
He did that one with it's almost like an Indiana Jones movie. What was that girl the actress? She was very popular for a while. He's a pilot or something like that. What's it?
Romancing the Stone.
No. It's kind of like Romancing
Tales
the
of the Gold Monkey.
Kind of like that, but it didn't do it. It was not
Romancing
very
the Stone.
Armstrong, Beth Armstrong. He did a
okay.
movie with Beth Armstrong, but he did a movie with Gene Simmons where it was a computer thing. And
I know that one. Yeah, and he's like silver purplish suit he's wearing. Yeah,
and it's futuristic, and they have these little electric car. I mean, these little cars that have bombs on it, and robots are going crazy and all this different stuff. And I was at the theater when people were supposed to be going. People were laughing. So I said, poor. I go, someday I'm going to be doing a podcast with someone, and someone's going to say, oh, poor Tom Selleck. Poor Tom Selleck. And I even watched Blue Bloods for as long as I could.
You know what really helped him, though?
Friends.
Bring it back. Friends.
Yeah.
You know, his cameos on Friends. And all of the funny moments, too. Although I saw something about like how Joey and Chandler were such huge fans of Die Hard, but they never recognized Bruce Willis as being.
But Bruce Willis was terrible. It didn't work.
No, I'm saying Bruce Willis was on Friends, but they don't recognize him as the person that was in Die Hard, even though Joey and Chandler are huge fans of Die Hard in the show.
I know, but
he just played it straight. Yeah, he wasn't really
sure.
I
wouldn't they say like, "Oh, you look like John McClane," you know?
Where Tom Selleck was great on Friends.
He was, and he was a recurring character because he was so good.
But Bruce Willis, you know, it just didn't work.
Yeah, the best,
and Bruce Willis is funny.
To me, the best one episode guest star was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving episode is
so
good.
The hate Monica fan club.
Hate Rachel.
Hate Rachel.
Yeah, that was good.
I hate her. I just hate her.
No, it still works. We're almost at 2 hours.
I know.
It didn't seem like it.
I got to go to bed tonight feeling bad for Tom Selleck.
I didn't. Think
I just meant like, you know, if a lot of the actors that you wish had a, you know, because he doesn't have
a happy ending.
Yeah, no, I mean, every actor wants that one movie or one thing that they'll be always remembered for, you know, and I don't think Tom Selleck has that, you know.
Well, but he'll always be remembered for Magnum PI.
How many people born in 1990 or past know Magnum PI?
They're just gonna know him from Friends.
Well, there's a lot of actors like that.
They're gonna be like, oh, that's my boomer parents show.
But it's like you look at Gone with the Wind. Clark Gable. Clark Gable did not want to do Gone with the Wind because he knew it was a career-defining role, and he didn't want to be remembered for Clark Gable. But of course, eventually,
Rhett
Butler. When he didn't want to be remembered as Rhett Butler, but he eventually took it, and that's
nobody wanted to be remembered as a Southerner. Am I right? Who wants to be on the losing team?
Hey, you know what, Jack? You're a Southerner right now.
No.
Yeah,
I was born in the North, though.
But I'm saying.
You can call me a carpetbagger, but you can't say I'm a Southerner.
Well, you know, carpetbaggers, you have to come into the South with money and make money. And
I was born in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
the Still City.
And then let's see here, but yeah, I don't know. I guess because I just always like Tom Selleck. You know, like I know that I'm not forget what I was watching. Where
we should get him on the podcast.
The bonus he got for doing the last season of Magnum. You know, he basically gave it to the cast. You know, he bought everyone Rolexes or gave them huge bonuses. I mean, that just shows you what kind of guy he is. That he's not. He was he felt that the success of the show was not all on him. It was the whole crew.
Well, him and the cast all got along too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of rare. It's like Friends. I mean, Friends, they negotiated, they said nobody made more than the other. That's why the show was still successful, because the egos were. That's why a lot of times the shows don't make it, because someone goes, okay, I'm making $100,000 less an episode than this guy.
Right.
But I think
person.
With Friends, though, they could do that because none of them were really established actors when the show started. I mean, Matthew Perry had done a few movies. Courtney Cox was probably the most famous of all of them. But
Dancing in the Dark.
Right. Yeah, Dancing in the Dark. She'd done a few things on Love Boat like everybody else, and but she hadn't done much. Rachel. Jennifer Aniston had been in The Leprechaun.
Wasn't she also in Family Ties?
I think she was in an episode of Family Ties. Yeah. And that's what I mean. So they had all had little things here and there, but no one knew who they were.
But once people get to a certain point, their egos take over and they start thinking, okay, especially when you come, like you said, they were not known. They could have walked down.
It's kind of like how Chris doesn't show up for this podcast.
Right.
It's like,
because
I've
Chris
been
has
here
an
for
ego.
2 hours and I'm like, where is he?
Yeah, because Chris has an ego. But I'm saying, like, any one of those people could have walked down the street. And
sorry, guys, can't make it tonight.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, gents.
Sorry, gents. There you go.
I demand.
I know he's not going to make it past the first 2 hours to get to this point.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, I might actually go back and listen to the podcast I missed, but
you missed 2 though. Yeah. So.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it was 2. Okay.
Yes,
anyway,
2.
But I'm saying is none of those actors you could walk down the street and most people would. I'm just saying you've seen it with a lot of shows where someone gets, they get famous all of a sudden. It's like, because even on Happy Days found out that Ron Howard got a little upset that Henry Winkler was getting all that his character trumped him. I mean, they're still great friends, but for a while there, he was upset.
I mean, but that was the character, though. I mean, everyone wants to hang out with the cool guy.
But remember, the Fonz when the show started, he was just a background character.
Right.
It was Richie and Potsy and even
it was basically Archie.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, yes, American Graffiti,
which is a great movie.
Wouldn't have Star Wars without American Graffiti.
Oh, I also want to mention something. I heard that Eric Stoltz, when they were doing a table reading, argued with someone, said it's not Back to the Future. It's not a comedy. That's why he played it the way he did. He was playing it straight because he said it's not a comedy.
Well, it works better as a comedy because when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
But you sit there and wonder, I go, okay, wouldn't someone have said something to him? No, dude, this is a comedy. It's a comedy, a dramedy or something.
It works better as a comedy. I mean,
anyway,
you got to have the funny moments to,
I thought it might have been Leah Thompson said that she said he didn't realize it was a comedy.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize they filmed so much of that. I mean,
a lot of it, and he's still in a lot of shots.
Because the guy that plays Biff and what's his name?
The diner scene, it is him.
Yeah, but the guy that plays Biff and the dad, McFly?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They were called into the office one day, and they both thought they were getting fired.
Oh.
And they're like going, sweating. My first big break and stuff like that. This guy that plays Biff was talking about that. And they go, yeah, we're replacing Eric Stoltz. We're going to have to refilm everything. They go, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's like going,
so I'm not fired.
Yeah, okay. Too bad for Eric.
Well, they were supposed to. Spielberg originally had conceived, or maybe it was Zemeckis, that the time traveling machine was going to be a refrigerator.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And there was going to be an atomic bomb or like an atomic. There's going to be something atomic happen in this refrigerator, but they didn't want kids getting in refrigerators.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
As a time machine. I'm like, yeah, good thing you thought that one through. So, because now everybody's souping up their DeLoreans and buying those.
I mean, that movie's what saved. DeLorean was out of business before that movie was made.
No, it was selling the cocaine that saved it.
I know.
Speaking of which, I mean, Chris isn't here, but I put together my Lego DeLorean, the big set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I had bought it for myself a while ago.
I've never put mine together either.
And then after the road trip, we got back home and just happy to not drive or not be moving for like.
So you worked on a car.
I did. Yeah, I did. But it was fun. It was fun. It was kind of like my own Father's Day present because while I was on the road, it was kind of, like didn't really get so I was like, all right, spending this day, gonna build this. But it's a fun build. I recommend it to anybody that is a fan of Back to the Future, or if you're a big Lego fan.
Are they rebooting?
What movie did you build it? Did you build it?
I built it with the original.
Okay.
And then my son went through and he built all of the parts and then put it together. So it's an amalgamation.
Can you use banana pills now? Can you use trash?
Yeah, there is a little part that you can put. There's a Mr. Fusion, and then there's also the railroad component that you can put on there. Although they don't put the railroad wheels on there, which I'm just kind of like, come on. It's got to go on the track in order to go that way. Like it's kind of like
that would have been cool. Like
if it had the
you couldn't do it on that because it's too big. But on the one they put out a decade ago, if that came with the rail wheels that you could put on the
the Lego, no, for sure, and then you could put it on the track and everything. Yeah. So, but anyway, it's a fun build. It's complicated. You got to watch, for some parts, and I recommend don't drink and build
because you get a DUI.
You get things backwards, and they're like, "Fuck, I gotta go."
I hate. Got it. I'm not a big. I hate that.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen it, Matt. Maybe even Jack too. But like going back to what you're talking about with Chippendale being Indiana and Magnum PI, I'm sure you've seen that too. Or Tom Selleck. You've seen that with Jurassic Park, where Newman is dressed as a different Goonies character in every scene he's in.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the scene where
it's funny how we still call him Newman.
Yeah. in the scene where he's getting the shaving cream, he's wearing a flowery shirt.
Right. Just like
And then when he's sitting at the desk, he's wearing a members only jacket, so he's mouth. Okay. And then in the scene where he dies, he's wearing the yellow slicker that Sean Astin's wearing when he puts the coin up,
Oh wow, I never put that together, huh? That's fucking cool.
So
that's cool. I never noticed
Spielberg.
Well, I haven't seen I saw Goonies once.
Really?
Many. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
I thought we watched it again with the kids.
I didn't hate it. I'm just saying, it's one of those movies I go, okay.
Well,
I think
time down here.
Yeah, it's a kid movie. Yeah. Just like Monster Squad. Like Monster Squad is kind of like
I'm a kid.
Yeah, we know Jack. I feel sorry for Jack sometimes.
He didn't get that movie.
You can feel sorry for me. But not fucking Tom Selleck.
He didn't get American Gladiator when he went out. He didn't get Survivor.
Fuck the Survivor people. Lost my football team.
We still can't finish a podcast. I mean, it's just like we're just like.
This is ridiculous. We've gone on this long. I blame Chris. Last week we were. It was like an hour and 20 minutes, wasn't it?
I don't
Chris
remember,
and Nick, whatever your name is.
Yeah, I'm not Chris. Don't you call me Chris?
Sorry, gents. Sorry, gents. All right, at this time we're going to wrap it up. But we thank everyone who joined us. We're glad to have Matt back. Glad Matt made it back safe from his trip. I'm glad he got to run into Nick.
It was fun. It was fun meeting.
Went out of his way to see Nick, which was
so
great.
Out of my way.
We do have 2 emails from Randy. They're just jokes, so we can say them quickly if you want, or we can wait.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's roll it. Even though Randy's sleeping at this point.
Okay. Yeah, he is. He started sleeping forever ago. Okay, so the title of the first one is Comedy Gold. The return of everyone's favorite segment. What do you get when you mix Breaking Bad and fast food?
A fast break?
Well, there's
fries.
These are names, and it's 3.
Oh,
fast food and Breaking Bad. A Walter White burger.
Close.
A White burger.
White? No, I don't
Tom
know.
Selleck burger.
Okay. Walter White Castle.
Oh, I didn't realize we were on, Wheel of Fortune here.
Yeah, and then there's 2 more. Heisenberger.
So before and after.
Heisenberger.
Okay.
And Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I got it.
Yeah. All right. And then
that's an angry taco, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I want to have after I'm done here.
Okay.
Taco.
The second one is called It's a Dog's Life.
Okay.
What do you call a dog that's a magician?
A Wienermobile.
A magic dog.
A top dog.
A labracadabrador.
Oh.
I never would have got that.
Didn't.
Well, I'm glad the show lasted an extra 2 minutes. At this time, thanks, Randy, for sending us those emails. If you like
thank you, Randy.
You send it to ramblecast@gmail.com. Once again,
No,
it's Ramblecast.
No, it's RCAD.
It's RCAD cast.
at
Okay,
gmail.com.
I apologize. Once again, it's
kind of
RCAD cast at
I'm
the worst at gmail.com. But we're going to close out this show because it's 2 hours and we still have 7 people in the chat. I think we're just background noise at this point.
Pretty much.
What do you think?
I think
But
so.
we thank everyone who joined us live. We might be back next week without Nick, though, right? Nick,
I'm gone for the next 2 weeks.
I'm free.
But,
actually, I might be able to podcast the 3rd week now, but we'll see.
Okay, because
you'll be in San Diego, so never mind.
Yeah, but I can do next week, so we'll talk to the gents and go from there. We'll let you know. Check the Facebook page. But we thank everybody who joined us live. We thank all our patrons, but we're going to thank
Ed the Litter
Eckhart Richter, Gladfelter, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy, Poopy Letter Carrier. Thanks for what you do. I forgot to mention my granddaughter calls her new brother Poop Face. I found out because he makes a poop face when he poops.
Oh,
he makes a funny face when he poops, so she calls him Poop Face. So
it's
I'm
a
okay with
sick
that.
burn.
Yeah, kid doesn't know yet, but he's not like he's Tom Selleck. He's got a chance in life. But that's all we got. Thanks for joining us. Hasta luego and goodbye.
See ya.
Great show, kids. It was 1 in a million.